Texas ranks second in the nation in cases of human trafficking. According to the National Human Trafficking Hotline, traffickers prey on people of all ages, backgrounds, and races.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. A group that helps survivors of trafficking around the world is now operating in East Texas. KLTV7's Shakina Davis has more on the group's decision to open up in Lufkin.
The rural areas, unfortunately, are not immune to that, and so we felt it was really important to be here in the Lufkin community and serve the counties surrounding this area.
Unbound Now was founded 12 years ago by CEO Susan Peters to combat human trafficking and help survivors of human trafficking. Its locations include Waco, Austin, Houston, North Texas, including Denton and Parker counties, New Orleans, and internationally in Europe and Indonesia. And now, Lufkin.
Unfortunately, traffickers target vulnerabilities, and in rural areas just as well. They will target someone who is lonely, who maybe doesn't have a support system in their family. They meet them on social media, or even families that are a good supportive environment.
As of this year, they've helped over 1,200 people globally. So far in East Texas, Unbound Now has 70 referrals regarding people who may need their help. Right now, they're only specifically helping victims trafficked for sex, helping victims serving sex trafficking in East Texas, but their plan is to serve all kinds within the next 3 years. The services they offer include advocacy teams, a crisis hotline, and ongoing case management.
Our advocates will deploy 24/7, 365 days a week to come alongside that survivor, meet those emergency needs like food, clothing, give them that emotional support.
East Texas volunteer Ashley Pigg says it's always been part of her heart to advocate for human trafficking survivors. She even walked through red light districts and spent time with women in brothels.
I prayed with women in brothels and those kind of things, and it just, that's the only thing I've ever done is actually kind of in India. So, but I'd rather be involved in where I am here at home.
Shakina Davis, KLTV 7 News.
You can scan the QR at the bottom of your screen to learn more about the Unbound and the services that they offer. Again, now open in Lufkin. You can also go to KLTV.com and click on the big red box. There you'll find a link attached to Shakina's story.